Fresh off the block, I'm getting mine everywhere I go. If you don't know, homie, now you know. Fresh off the block, homie, you don't know where I come from, but I know where I'm going. I'm fresh off the block.
Fresh Off the Boat, the name of an autobiographic book and TV show that ran on ABC for 6 seasons. In the Asian American community, the term is fairly popular and is used to refer to first-generation Asian Americans who hadn't assimilated yet. This is also the very premise of the ABC show. In the Vietnamese-American community specifically, however, the term is also very literal, referring to the millions of refugees who had to flee Vietnam by sea and were hence fresh off the boat when they arrived in the U.S.
USA, make America great, great again.
I really don't have any idea why our Vietnamese community is overwhelmingly conservative.
Năm 2020, ngày 3 tháng 11, ngày 3 tháng 11, ta bầu cho Tổng thống Trump. Donald Trump.
On a BBC story covering the 2020 election season, BBC noted that Vietnamese Americans were the only Asian American community that supports Donald Trump more than Joe Biden. What's your reaction to this statement?
Why? Why would they do that?
It'd be like that. The Vietnamese American community escaped from a war that they believe communism was the root cause of it.
So when you have your family and your home taken from you, and you have to throw all that away and fly or swim or whatever to America, and they're the only people that decided to take you in when you're running from the communists, because they'll take all your stuff, which Vietnam's communist now, and they seem to be doing fine, but everyone says it's much worse. Everyone who goes back, I always hear communism has made things worse, and it's not the same. You really don't know how that is until you've lived it.
Tuesday, April 29th. The streets of Saigon, usually jammed with traffic at the morning rush hour, are quiet. The attack by communist aircraft at Saigon's Tan Son Nhut Airport the day before has prompted a 24-hour curfew. The order to evacuate American nationals is given. Those South Vietnamese not lucky enough to have been chosen for evacuation defied the curfew and stood outside the embassy gate, begging for a seat on the helicopters. For the frightened civilians, the first few hundred feet were the most dangerous. After that, they were out of range of rifle and pistol fire. The hardest part was the waiting. Many people said it was unnerving to be waiting for a ride to safety and to be hearing fighting all around you.
I think maybe you better.
Once on a service trip to Vietnam, I saw my first real-life dead body. A man had been knocked off his motorized scooter by an incoming truck and was left on the dusty streets in a maroon-red pool of blood. Traumatized by the experience, I asked my dad about his experiences fleeing the war, wondering how he coped with a war zone during the fall of Saigon. My dad isn't very talkative, but I can still remember the expression he had when he casually told me, "There are a lot of dead bodies around." It was as if he had become so incredibly normalized to the reality of death. To this day, I wonder if my parents simply just repressed their memories and experiences.
I never really asked them, but I know they would tell me. Maybe when I did ask as a kid, I don't really remember much, but if I did, it's very closed off because, it's trauma, And I really feel like the older generation doesn't know how to deal with that trauma. So obviously they don't want to talk about it. They just want to forget and move on.
They were always kind of silent because they didn't really want to talk about it.
They'll let you do you, and we're just going to do us. Yeah, so I don't think there's a big divide there, but there's like an unspoken conflict.
It becomes politics because you have your views and your parents have theirs, and the only answer is to not talk about it.
I lost my place.
Don't worry.
I'm scared my parents will hear this. Okay. Okay. What was I saying?
Silence in many ways can be deafening. Intergenerational trauma often forces those within our families to choose silence over reliving pains that stem from war, colonization, and loss. Often this amplifies the disconnect between older Vietnamese refugees that fled their homeland and the younger Vietnamese-American generation that did not experience the effects of war directly. It is essential that we continue to break these barriers of silence by choosing curiosity over fear and empathy over judgment to better understand those that we care about. Bên đây đó đa số support Donald Trump hơn Biden. Bố Việt Nam có tin đó không?
Có chứ.
Đúng rồi. Yes.
Tại vì người ta sống ở cái thời cộng sản, người ta biết rồi. Communist bên Việt Nam người ta biết rồi, người ta biết Việt Nam với Trung Quốc cái như thế nào người ta biết rồi.
Ngày xưa là mình from Việt Nam Cộng Hòa.
Có tin đa số Á Đông là Cộng Hòa hay là Dân Chủ?
Chắc phải 2/3 là Cộng Hòa đó.
Ở bên Mỹ luôn.
Từ vì đa số người ta vì tìm cái sự tự do người ta mới đi.
Nghĩa là nếu mà mình gặp người Mỹ đó
thì má vẫn giải thích cho họ chứ.
Giải thích
má vẫn explain là tự vì dân chủ là Democrat ở bên Việt Nam là gì đó communist đó. Bên Việt Nam là giống y chang bên đây bây giờ là nó cứ nó đánh người ta xong nó đưa cái dân giống như dân quậy phá, nó đánh, nó không ưa ai nó đánh người ta trận xong thì má cũng nói với người ta vậy, người ta mới hiểu người ta mới biết là như vậy, chứ không phải là má ghét ai hết, mà má chỉ biết là cái thời nó sống vào cái thời đó là má sợ quá.
Bố với má có thấy đứa trẻ thời này đa số dân chủ hay Cộng Hòa?
Má thấy đa số dân chủ nó bị trường học giống cái thời cộng sản, nó dạy theo cái lối cộng sản rồi đâm ra nó sống theo kiểu nó nghĩ là nó sẽ được hưởng cái đó, nó không cần làm nhiều mà nó được hưởng cái đấy.
Nhưng mà người lớn là Cộng Hòa, còn đứa trẻ là dân chủ cũng có bị vấn đề.
Thì bây giờ giờ đa số nhà ai cũng bị vấn đề đó. Người lớn theo Cộng Hòa, con nít theo dân chủ.
Tại vì young people không có hiểu, mấy đứa trẻ không có hiểu. Người lớn người ta
sống vào cái thời người ta biết rồi, còn những đứa trẻ là đa số nó học ở đây, nó học sau cái thời sau này nó học.
Hồi nãy người lớn với đứa trẻ thấy khác nhau đó.
Là vấn đề political là làm chia rẽ ở trong gia đình, nhiều gia đình bị chia rẽ,
vợ chồng chia rẽ. Politics mỗi lần nói ra là hay phay đi cãi nhau, chia tay nhau.
Bố với má tiếng sợ có respond, có sợ gì không?
Không, tại vì người ta gọi là Chinese virus, thành ra những người Mỹ trắng họ ghét người Chinese.
Cho Việt Nam mình nhìn giống Tàu á, cùng là dân đầu đen hết với nhau, cho nên người ta cứ nghĩ nhìn mình giống dân Tàu, họ ghét thôi. We just try the best. Bởi vì sao má cứ dặn tụi con là phải cẩn thận.
Before we left, the people of Palau Bidong asked us if they could send a message to the people of the United States.
We, the 3 members of the Vietnamese Refugee Committee here, on behalf of 23,000 refugees, we would like to give this message. It's only for humanitarian reasons, because we are living in very terrific conditions, and we hope that we will get all the help of the people and the government of the United States. Please help us to survive so that one day we can live in freedom again as you all. The United States are our only hope.